Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame Thompson and Carter.
Well, that's a name.
Yeah, it is.
That's a name.
Sure is.
Yep, it's a good one.
Thank you.
Yes. So, today, on this lovely show that we are doing today, we have the pleasure of talking about the season, possibly series finale, of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. This was episode 9. It was directed by Kat Coiro, written by Jessica Gao, and it was called Whose Show Is This? It aired on October 13th, 2022, the year of our Lord. And first off, what are your initial thoughts here about this episode as a finale, and maybe the whole series as a whole? Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not the series. I would like to see a season 2, or at least her in a movie. But I loved it. I mean, I thought it was probably my favorite finale of the season finale of Loki. I would say there's probably a tie between those.
Yeah, I mean, Loki was okay. I had issues with Loki's finale, but I was fine with it because it wasn't going to be a series finale. So.
Yeah.
So, I liked this episode. I thought it was good. It's probably one of the better Marvel episodes so far. I liked Miss Marvel's ending probably a slightly better at the moment, but that's just me. Yeah. So, what goes down in this episode here?
Well, we start with this kind of cool introduction that, like, almost beat for beat, same as like the 1977 or whatever TV series of the Hulk. Like, the makeup is kind of, made to look like that. The film, kind of grainy.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
And it was in 4x4 screen resolution too, like old TVs are, and
that's right.
Or 4x3, whatever it is. And then the yeah, it was like the old series that starred Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby. Bill Bixby as David Banner, not Bruce Banner.
Yeah, David Banner. Yeah, because they said that Bruce, the name Bruce was too gay, whatever that means. Okay, and then
yeah, because
what I liked about it though too,
because there are so many, like Bruce Willis. Wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always every Bruce Willis you've seen in your life, like, oh, that's totally a gay man. That's what he's definitely trying to portray. Really? Okay. And then
yeah,
I mean, there's literally a movie that he did called was it Hudson Park or something like that, where one of the lines is literally "Play Nintendo, bang some chicks." Like, and then Nintendo allowed for that to be as part of their promotion for the movie, I guess, when they're also simultaneously marketing Nintendo as like kid games. But anyway, it's a whole other thing. But
yes.
And then whatever. And then hey, it was the 80s for you.
But when I think of gay people, I think of people that play video games and fuck chicks.
Yeah, I mean that's what You know, especially you think Nintendo of all the systems too to do that too. You don't think PlayStation 4 or any kind of modern
No, no, no,
system. You
no.
think like
The
no,
most
definitely Nintendo.
wholesome video game company out there is what I think of.
Yep, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nintendo was like notorious for not having too much gore and blood and stuff. But yeah, anyway, you got Mario as like
Not
the
to
main
mention the fact,
character.
not to mention the fact that the name David. I personally know about 4 guys named David that are gay.
Well, that's because the things changed over time. So back then, apparently Bruce was a quote gay name, and then now Dave. I don't know. But they do have this funny thing where like she's like sitting like in the same kind of like whatever thing he was in when he was like testing stuff on himself.
When he had
happened at all.
Gamma radiation that made him the Hulk or whatever. Yeah.
But that's not at all what happened in She-Hulk, so I'm not sure why they even added that there. But then like there's a scene where she's actually talking to the guy that plays Bruce, you know, in the MCU, and she's like, "Don't make me angry," or "You wouldn't like me when I'm angry," and then like he just kind of looks like confused, like, "Wait a minute, is that my line?" Like,
yeah.
You know, and then like you know they show like the whole rampage going on in the ceremony that they're doing, and then it says the Savage She-Hulk alongside with the Incredible Hulk, you know, like TV series, and that was kind of cool. And then it kind of immediately goes into like you know reality, and Jen is
and
one of those.
The Savage She-Hulk was played by a man too, so that was interesting. So
yeah, during the rampage, you know.
Yeah.
And also too, like the lifting of the car and all that kind of stuff, which is again like beat for beat. But then you know we're jolted into reality. Which, you know that could have been Jen and us at the same time being jolted back into like what's really happening. And she's you know in one of those containment cells. And immediately she starts talking about, you know, we're gonna take these guys down, and they're like you gotta worry about your own case. Like you broke my laws last night. Like you're a criminal now. Like you know.
Yeah.
Oh, agree. Well, that's not how that works. I mean, it's already she's showing like. In episode 1, she was super arrogant about like, oh, I know how to control my anger because I'm a woman and I've been doing this my whole life. And then it's like, well, at the same time now, you broke the law now and you're like justifying breaking the law. So you're kind of already going down that sort of superhero path of like, the law doesn't apply to me because I'm special. And it's like, nope, that's dangerous. Like, you know, and so, you know, they kind of nip that in the bud real quick. And they're like, well, you know, what are the terms of my plea deal? And they're like, well, you gotta wear the inhibitor just like Emil, and which sucks because you know the whole season was like, at first, you know, it was like she was totally like rejecting the aspect of being She-Hulk, and then slowly she starts coming to terms with like it was like a weird journey because like at first it was a total rejection, then it was I like being She-Hulk more than I like being Jen. Then it was both parts equally. And then suddenly after that, well, now you got to take away one of those parts. So it's just like just being.
It's kind of similar to Moon Knight in a way too. You know what I mean? Like how he had to come to terms with his different personalities.
Yeah, pretty much. And you know, she got fired. John, he still stays there. You know, so it's kind of like, I mean, I would have feel betrayed, and I don't think don't betray, but it's kind of weird. It's like, oh, I'm the one that got you this job. Now I'm fired. Years. Like, that had to sting a little bit probably for her, and then but you know, at the same time, she can make a big like, oh well, you need to quit because I got fired. Use the car, very rude car that decides to drive down the road that I'm walking on. Anyway,
how dare a car drive on a road?
No. Yeah, exactly. This is my road. It's actually not my road, but it's a road that I'm walking on. Therefore, it's mine. I should have free reign over it. Anyway, uh, yeah, she has to move back
FYI,
in, with the
yeah,
parent.
yeah, FYI, folks at home, Matt is going for a walk as we record this because this is the only time we're able to do this. So I'm just letting you know that that's why he's on a road. He doesn't have a road going through his house.
No, no.
No.
I wanted one once, but it was too expensive, but and too noisy as well. Couldn't really get any sleep. Lots of trucks driving by, but some people like bowling alleys in their homes. I like roads. What do you gotta do? But and I don't know. So yeah, she has got to move home, back with her parents, and they're all like super supportive and shit. And even that's right, I forgot. Even when she got out of prison, they're like, "Oh, it's okay. People go to prison every day and stuff like that." And, like super supportive,
like
parents.
The most
crazy.
The most understanding parents ever.
Yeah, totally. And then and she kind of she goes to her her bedroom, from home, and she's like you mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Legally Blonde poster and the other poster. And
yeah, she had Legally Blonde and Aaron Brockovich posters on her wall, which
that's right,
which are both legal dramas or dramas and comedies from the time she was probably like around in high school or something. So yeah, which probably inspired her journey.
Her movie influences that helped her along the journey of wanting to become a lawyer, which again it proves that media matters. It actually does influence people both for the good and for the bad. And
that's
anyway,
and that's why I'm a Jedi.
Yeah.
Wait.
Sure. Well, technically, you can actually become a Jedi as a religion.
That's true.
But I don't think you get powers though from it. So
yeah, and you don't get paid. You don't get paid well either. I don't think.
Probably not. No, I mean I don't think they got paid very well either. But they. Anyway, so she kind of churns over on her bed, and she's like talking to us, again, and saying like this isn't even like a reluctant superhero store anymore. I'm just getting screwed over. And then she's like, is that what you want? It's like, so we start like feeling for her because it's like she's talking to like us, and then she just kind of go straight to work, trying to figure out, who Intelligencia is, and it's really hard to pin them down because they got all these shell corporations in different parts of the world, and there's really we just know about the Hulk King. That's all we know about. We don't know who this guy is or whatever. And Nikki's like, don't worry. Like most of the people on this group are like dumb guys. One of them is gonna slip up, and stuff like that, which is true. That's how a lot of these rings get busted. Actually, is from people just making like rookie mistakes or like stupid mistakes, and then like the whole
hubris gets a hold of them, and they're like, hey, guess what I'm part of? It's like, oh yeah, yeah.
That's kind of like also like one of the big things that like disproves like these conspiracy theories about like how like a worldwide cabal of like of course nowadays they're starting to blame everything on the Jews again, which is not a good sign when it comes to like fascism rising. But like, and it's just like no one slipped up, nobody talked to someone bragging about. I mean, like there was literally like completely airtight, tight-lipped. Like that's not how humans are. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like the Bilderbergers or the the Masons or the Illuminati are controlling everything, or the Jews are controlling everything. But there's no but it's all secret and nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
And not one of these people said a damn thing. Right? Yep.
Nobody knows about it, but yeah, everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
Okay, like how does that work out? Like you know about it, but you don't have any intel as to how it's happening because nobody's talking about it who's actually involved in it. But yet Okay, that's wow. All right, that's really big brain stuff there. But it's like Jordan Peterson level.
Well, it's another thing, like you said earlier, how media can be influential on people. It could be influential for good or bad. It can
Oh,
make
totally.
somebody can watch Aaron Brockovich and decide to become a lawyer, or somebody can watch some movie that has some they could watch the movie Conspiracy Theory and think that's the way the world really is. It's like
I gotta buy the copy of The Catcher in the Rye, like 80.
yeah.
Have like 1,000 copies of it for some reason. But yeah, um, so she starts breaking the fourth wall quite a bit during this finale, and Nikki, during this time, they're actually doing this work at Jen's house or her parents' house, and Jen's mom shows Nikki like an old college video of her like dancing in like a dorm room, and she's like, "Oh, can you send that to me?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And it's like, "No, like I'm suing both of you for like emotional damage or whatever."
Yeah.
Then Nikki though gets the bright idea. She's like, "I'm just gonna post this video on the Intelligentsia website, just wait for some to respond to it." And of course, it's Hulk King himself that responds to the video.
Yeah.
Invites her,
It's like right away that's like somebody becoming a Nazi during World War II, and all of a sudden Hitler's your best friend. I mean, it's like
it's just so bizarre. And then
yeah,
it's like, it's the same reason. Like, I get suspicious if, like, let's say someone signed up for like a YouTube account like 3 days ago, and then like they start just like saying a bunch of like crazy shit on like a video in order to start controversy. And it's like, oh, that's totally legitimate. A 3-day-year-old profile, and it's like, and like the picture is like of Pepe the Frog, like that. It's like, oh, obviously this is a real person and not some troll or whatever. You know what I mean?
or somebody with
literally,
somebody with 30 friends on Facebook tells you that they can promote your podcast, and you ask them how, and they say on Facebook, and you're like, I've got 4,000 friends and you've got 30. How are you gonna help me? Yeah.
Well, he's not promoting the podcast from his friends list. He's doing it, that's just like his close 30 friends,
Yeah.
But then he's going to promote the podcast through other means. I don't know. And then
seems legit to me. Just
I just love these guys. They like, it's just like the same guys who will actually like hit you up like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And you're like, we've already been through this, dude. Like, and they're like, please, sir, I can promote your podcast. It's like, dude, I said no. Like,
it's like, do you have any references? No. Okay.
Yeah, I have no references, but I can promote your. It's just a bizarre thing. But like, anyway, so the Hulk King falls for the trap immediately. Like literally a profile that was probably just created within like 3 minutes time, and then they're like, oh yeah, come to the retreat. But that's kind of an indication of where this episode is going, because of like how believable thing.
Yeah, it's very very fantasy laden, and it was like, yeah, it was interesting with the retreat thing too.
Yeah, hold on.
So yeah, the we have the retreat. She's invited to, and the moment that happened, I was kind of like, hey, this is going to take place at Emil's place, which is the next sitcom I want to see. It's going to be called Emil's Place.
Emil's Place, yeah.
He's just going to open up a bar, and
yeah.
No. So yeah, Matt's going to sound a little bit better now too, because he's not walking and has got his headphones off, so he sounds a little bit better here. We're going to be good, folks. So I apologize for anything, and we're good. Just letting our folks at home know, because they're concerned.
Yeah, probably.
Making sure Matt did not get hit by a car.
No.
Yeah. So, or Sesame did not get hit by a car either. And all of
neither one of us got hit, so good.
All of your sesame seeds would have fallen off, and that's what happens when you get hit by a car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, back to the show here. We've got we got them invited right away to this super awesome soiree retreat. Basically, we get Pug has to pose and do like a whole Black Klansman type of thing here. Basically, where
or an incel Klansman
yeah.
or intellectual.
Yeah.
He's got to pretend to be an intellectual.
Yeah.
Trademark. I came up with that phrase like 5-6 years ago. So anyway,
yeah, I think it's funny that incel and intelligentsia kind of like have similar, sounds to them in a way too.
I'm pretty sure that was the intent.
Yeah.
I really am sure that was.
Yeah.
Because Todd and them and a lot of people really wanted to get with She-Hulk. They couldn't have her, and a lot of that stuff, that frustration, is projection really on their part of like, because they desperately want to quote have her, but then since they can't, so then they come up with all of these like ways to demean her, like, oh, she's she didn't even get her powers naturally. Well, neither did the Hulk.
And the things that they say are exactly the types of things that they were saying about like Brie Larson and other people.
Yeah.
They
get mad and say like, oh, one of us by being woke. Like, no, they're literally just copy and pasting things that have been said online. Like,
so funny.
Yeah.
And sad.
It's sad.
Yeah.
They talked about Lady Thor, said she's not good and all this kind of stuff,
and people are, and basically, so they're just saying all these things that we hear online, because the same thing happened, like, literally it had just happened, the Lady Thor thing, like people were making a big deal about that when Thor: Love and Thunder came out, just weeks ago, and so it's like,
right,
yeah, so we have this Pug goes in posing as the person that is invited to the thing, but as himself really, and he's got a little like Airbud or AirPod. What are they? AirPods or no? What are they? Yeah, AirPods. I guess they're called the Apple earbuds, whatever they are.
I
think they're AirPods. They should be called AirBuds, but that was probably trademarked by Disney.
Yeah, AirBuds. It's just like picture of walking AirBuds sparks in your ear.
Yeah.
That's it.
You put them in your ear, and then your dog can play basketball. It's this weird thing.
Yeah. Or soccer.
Yeah.
World Cup.
Or baseball.
Seventh inning fetch. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, they're at this intelligentsia conference thing or whatever, and Pug's in there with his earbud in, and Nikki's basically telling him what to do, doing a whole like Cyrano de Bergerac sort of thing, So what happens there? Then we got the event going on, and at the same time, Jen is trying to figure out, what's going on with her life. She needs kind of a break from things, so she decides to go to Emil's getaway to feel better. And she goes there, has a conversation with the douchebag who tried to kill her before, but but is now cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's looking for she's reading Emil's book of haikus, and then she decides that she wants to go find Emil, and he's in this in the what was the place where like in the barn or whatever it is, or
it's like it's kind of like I don't know if it's a barn or not, but it's like that's like where like the group share place is.
Yeah. Hmm.
building or whatever room,
Yeah, I couldn't remember
that
what they called it. I was trying to remember, but yeah, she's she goes into there. Emil's already in there. He's giving a big speech as the Abomination to the fucking intelligentsia people. So before that, though, we did find out. I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping over here. We did find out that Hulk King was surprised Todd because nobody saw
Yeah.
that. Nobody saw that coming ever.
right.
That was like the biggest surprise in television history. You know,
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic.
Right.
It was obvious the whole time that he was fucking Hulk King, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They he she goes in there, sees Emil as Abomination, gets pissed off about that. Obviously, you know, it's like, you know, I'm as your lawyer, I can't allow this. Um. Then we find out that Todd had stolen her blood, you know, through Josh, which we knew about. And is about to inject himself and become a Hulk type creature, and he does, and he's like dopey looking when he hulks out.
You know,
And that
like he's so
and then Bruce shows up, and it's all hell breaks loose, and Titania shows up. It's like, you know, this big, you know, Marvel event, and then Jen decides to stop things and break the fourth wall, and then literally break the Disney Plus menu.
So when that happened for the first time I watched it, I actually thought that there was something wrong. Like I thought that the show had just stopped. Like
Yeah,
it's like so like because it made that little bloop sound, and I was like, what the hell just happened? And then all of a sudden, like we start seeing her talking. I'm like, oh, that's part of the show.
yeah.
Which I thought, and then
Like there was some kind of glitch in your player or something.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I thought would happen.
yeah,
Happen.
yeah. And so she jumps from her show into the Marvel Assembled behind the scenes show, and goes in there, and then that way she's on the Disney lot. She's walking around past the building with the seven dwarfs that we've seen before in different things.
And also wearing her other suit for the first time.
Yeah.
So that's the first time we see her.
Was that the first?
Suit.
Oh no, I thought she wore it when she was fighting Leapfrog.
Oh, she may have, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I thought her and Daredevil were both wearing their suits at that point.
Yeah.
She so then she goes into Marvel, and she walks into the She-Hulk writer's room, and there we see Jessica Gao, the writer of this episode. She's in there, but there's also an actress playing her in that scene. So
really?
It's really meta. Like she's sitting on one side of the table, and then there's an actress playing Jessica Gao on the other side of the table.
Oh wow.
So it's kind of weird meta. Anyway, so it's like your typical kind of like TV writer's room almost. Well, I mean, I guess it's a little bit more realistic. They're talking about, oh, maybe next season can be all a dream.
Right. Like, wouldn't that be really fresh and original? I was like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's not like Dallas didn't do that, you know, in the 80s or 90s. So
I know that was such a dumbass thing to do. And then
yeah.
Why would they do that? But yeah,
then what happens?
Well, you know, she's just like saying, like, you know, basically, like, you know, I got a bone to pick with you guys. Like, why are you like, you're ruining my finale and stuff like that. And they're like, well, that's what Kevin wants. And they're like, well, okay, let me, you know, talk to Kevin. And they're like laughing, like, nobody talks to Kevin. And like, one guy's like, I would literally kill you to protect Kevin. And she's like, okay, this is really unhealthy. The way you're talking about him is very unhealthy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go and talk to him, and then, you know, she goes to like the front desk, and the guy makes her sign, you know, a non-disclosure agreement. But then hits the red button, and she's like, "Why would you make me sign that if you're just getting?" He's like, "Everyone's got to sign the NDA." Like,
Which I hear is true. I was listening to a podcast, and some like reporters, anytime they go into that building, have to sign an NDA.
oh, okay.
It's just standard procedure. Or if you're on a set or anything dealing with Marvel, you have to sign the NDA, and probably
Oh,
it's several pages long, and nobody reads it.
of course. I mean, come on. And
The guy was like joking. I think he's like, I could probably owe my soul to Kevin Feige, and I don't know it. So it's just like,
yeah, and then so this cool fight sequence goes on where she's fighting guards and they're playing this really cool song in the background. Finally,
yeah,
she ends up hitting one guy up against the wall and using his eyeballs to unlock the door, and then just kind of drops them, and then
yeah,
goes into this room, and all these Marvel like movie introductions are going on, and then you actually hear Bruce say one time, like, "That's the point. I'm always angry," or whatever. And then she's like, like, what the hell is this? And then we see like this sort of robot thing, you know, show up, and it's Kevin stands for, like, I forgot what it stood for, like,
it's,
knowledge something, or
shit, I had it and I
whatever.
lost it.
It's like
Yeah,
abbreviation, and then
yeah,
I mean, obviously it's about Kevin Feige, but like they turned it into like a
yeah, and the robot. It's interesting too. Above the lights and stuff that kind of form like what his face is or whatever. There's like a brim that looks like a baseball cap, but it's part of the thing. And it
oh
almost makes it look like, because Kevin always wears a black baseball cap. Kevin
oh
Feige
I
does. So
see, yeah.
it kind of, yeah, they kind of added a baseball cap in the design. So
And he's like, I am Kevin, and I produce near perfect products. He's like, near perfect. And he's like, some are better than others. And then like
yeah,
she's like, well, I don't like what you're doing with my show. And he's like, it's not your show or whatever. It's like, well, I'm the one, I'm the star of it or whatever. So don't I get a say, and what happens in it and all this kind of stuff? And then, you know, he's like, this is still a legal comedy. And he's like, if that's what you prefer to call it. And then like, and then, she basically is like, well, can I at least give my closing argument or whatever? And, because she's like talking about like, stealing the Hulk blood is very similar to like the super serum, soldier serum thing. And
yeah,
also literally the plot of the very first Hulk movie in 2008. Well, the first
yeah,
Marvel, not the 2003 version, but like, and
yeah,
then, because that villain was Absorbing Man, where he just absorbed the powers. Actually, it's a really pretty cool power to have,
yeah,
actually. You literally just absorb everyone else's powers and you're pretty much unstoppable. But like, um, but then he's like, all right, you may proceed. And then she just kind of goes into this sort of, I don't know, to me, it almost kind of made me choke up a little bit, even though it was, because she was just kind of like, almost like speaking my thoughts almost a little bit about like how Marvel has gotten into like this sort of routine where it's like no longer really original anymore for a lot of the movies and stuff. So it's like interesting to have a Marvel character
yeah.
almost.
You've got a formula basically, where you got the big battle at the end and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like she's like dissing Marvel as a Marvel character
Mm-hmm.
to Kevin,
And
and then
then she even brings up the thing. She's like, "What's with all the daddy issues? You've got
yeah, it's like,
you've got um what she say, like, who is she? Oh, she's like Tony Stark, daddy issues. Thor, daddy issues. Loki, same daddy, same issues.
big
Um,
issues.
yeah, and
Uh,
yeah, and
uh,
she's
Star Lord,
Star
two
Lord,
daddy.
two daddies, two issues. Yeah, it's like
And then she's sitting down, and he's like, "Oh, you are sitting now." And then I'm like,
yeah,
and then
and she's asking about when the X-Men are going to show up, and then
and yeah, she does a little thumbs up, and then
yeah,
like, and then she's like, well, what do you propose then? And she's like, well, let's get rid of the Todd, being like the Hulk thing that's dumb, and let's, get rid of Bruce, jumping down and Titania, and let's get rid of the abomination. Let's let him just stay in Emil form and put this in daylight instead of nighttime and all this kind of stuff. And she's like, "All right, is that it?" And he's like, "Is that it? You've completely ruined my story or whatever." And he's like, "You will never have access to KEVIN again, except when we see you on the big screen." And she's like, "Really?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "Oh, whatever." And then no, because before that too, she was like, "Well, the reason why we needed the Green Hulk is because he was supposed to." And you're like, "No, no one really cares about that."
Yeah,
Like,
it's like, and she was talking about how Hawks smash things,
oh
which,
yeah,
which I thought was kind of funny. She's like like you know like Bruce smashes buildings, I smash fourth walls, and sometimes Matt Murdock.
yeah.
That's-
Also, to the fact that they made her transform
mhm,
off camera because the
oh
the
yeah,
effects
it's too
have already moved.
expensive.
Yeah,
That was funny. But so yeah, she ends up going back, and we got things in the daylight. It's a little bit better, and when she gets back, uh, they uh they arrest they arrest Todd and Blonsky because he had turned into the Abomination. See, because my thing is I think he still did, turn into the Abomination, was talking there, but I don't think he was doing it. I don't know if he was doing it knowing what he was talking at. He might have just been paid to be a speaker.
yeah. I don't even think he even knew it was intelligentsia
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
because like
yeah,
his speech was just very generic, like Tony Robbins kind of stuff. Like, "Are you seizing your goals?" And I mean, it
yeah,
was just like literally can mean reference anything. Like it was just like, "Oh, these guys want to pay me a bunch of money to do a speaking." My whole thing about that, though, not to go off the rails a little bit, but like, how is nobody knowing that he's turning into Abomination except for that one time when he said that the chicken got loose or whatever? Like, is nobody keeping tabs on
yeah. What's
this
up? What's up with
going on?
his parole officer and unless he figured out a way to fool the inhibitor.
I guess, but it just seems
Yeah,
like come off. Well, because even like in real inhibitors, like they'll know if someone's like trying to tamper with it too, like not just if it goes off by
but
itself or
you mean
like
like ankle bracelets and stuff, or
yeah,
like
like
yeah,
they know if
yeah,
someone's actively trying to mess with it. So it's like they'll get so it's like this is supposed to be like a super form of bracelet. I mean, like a leg
yeah.
bracelet. I think that they would have even more capability of knowing when it's being tampered with or at least malfunctioning. But like, nope, nobody knows apparently
No,
that he's been. It's,
maybe we'll find out in the future. Um,
yeah,
maybe
maybe
he'll get
yeah,
his own
we'll find
show or
out. But
something. Um, but yeah, he gets arrested the next day, and then so like the next day she's celebrating with her family, and Matt Murdock came back too, after the things happen. Um,
just fell from the sky
yeah,
and land
hmm
did the superhero landing that is the poser
yeah,
landing that
like
Selena talks about.
like you do, and so and then Banner returns from Sakaar, um, and he has a son named Scar, which is pissed off the internet right now. So
Wait, why?
they don't like the way he looks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're you know acting like somebody killed their mother or something, and
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, then she regains her. She's cleared of all of her charges, and she regains her job, and she vows to continue to work as a lawyer and a superhero. Then we have a mid-credits scene where Wong breaks Blonsky out of prison again and takes
Yeah,
him to
what the hell is with
takes him to Kamar-Taj, and I don't know what's going on with that storyline. And my thing is where was what's her face, um his his little binging buddy, the chick.
uh
Oh, what's her
wait,
name? The the girl from previous episode with Wong. I think she should have been there.
Oh, Madison.
Madison, that's her name. I was
Yeah, I know
blanking on her
Madison
name.
should have been in there too. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it sucks, but
I want to see him. I think I want to see a series where it's Madison, Wong, and maybe Emil, just the three of them.
yeah. And it be called Emil's Place, but every episode it's a different name. So then it's like Madison's Place, and then it's Juan's Place, and then like changes.
Yeah.
But like anyway, so like that whole thing too is trying to figure out why is Juan so set on breaking him out of jail all the time. Like what is his
This has
goal?
got to be setting up something for a future movie or TV
Something
series.
like is he gonna teach him the mystic arts? Is he gonna? I mean, like that's what I'm starting to wonder because he got really into meditation. He started meditation retreat. Is that part of his training? Because obviously with the mystic arts, it's not just about spells, but there's meditations involved and all that kind of spiritual stuff as well. But like, but so yeah, we get that, and that's the only mid-credit scene we have. But then before that, I wanted to mention, the song that they play near the end is it's called "I Want to See the Bright Lights Tonight" by Richard and Linda Thompson, which was they were like a popular folk duo in Britain in the 70s. Like they weren't like huge like Cat Stevens was, but they were pretty decently well known. And it was interesting, and again, this could have been a total coincidence, or maybe it could have been maybe somewhat subconscious, like they didn't even realize why they were doing it, or they knew why they were doing it. I don't know. But like, so Richard and Linda Thompson, well, so Richard, he was in the band called Fairport Convention before he went like solo, and they did like a lot of really cool albums. You should check them out, actually. Like especially, you should check out the album called Liege and Leaf, I think it's called, or Liege and Leaf, where they take old British folks. What's that?
I said okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. They take like British folk songs and then they kind of put them in like a modern rock setting, which is interesting. And then they would write their own original songs, but then put them in the style of old British folk songs. So it was kind of a cool thing they did. But when he went solo, and then he met his wife, and then they became like a duo. He converted to Sufi Islam, like a mystical version of Islam, and actually lived in a commune in Britain at the time. And like they had like meditation retreats and like stuff like that. And then she moved in with them. She did not like the experience being, a woman, and obviously with the whole patriarchal stuff, women, their place is to wash clothes, cook food, that whole thing, and so I just find that interesting, that they play a song from people who literally lived in like a retreat / commune where like meditation was involved as well as
interesting.
Then you got Emil, who literally was raised in Britain. Yes, he was Russian born, but he was raised in Britain, and he runs the meditation retreat. I just thought it was interesting, but like, so I don't know if that was intentional.
Could just be coincidence. Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows? But knowing them, how they tie everything together, could have been a conscious choice as well. But yeah, it's just very interesting because like they just commune was just set up in Britain somewhere, and then people just live there, and then like I don't know how long the commune lasted, like 5-10 years, something like that. They left pretty quickly. They only lived there for like a year or two, I think, and then because she hated it, she absolutely hated it. She only kind of went along with him because he was like going on like his own spiritual journey or whatever, and just like just sort of side tangent about that, but like what's interesting though is that the imam who ran the commune, he himself was also a convert to Sufi Islam, and then he was actually a stage actor or a play actor called Ian Dallas, and then he changed his name to some Arabic name, I forgot what it was, and then he actually told Richard Thompson to quit playing music, quit singing music, but then told Linda that she could keep singing and playing. And I think the reason why is because he was afraid that Richard would like get used to the fame, or it would like hurt him spiritually. Whereas she had more pure of heart or whatever. So like, yeah, it's okay if you sing. and But anyway, so I just thought that was interesting that they played that song near the end of
Yeah.
the episode,
That is interesting.
and then like obviously they're like,
And it's a good song.
it's a really good song. Really, that whole album is really good too. I forgot the name of the album, but then the one after that though is really really good. It's called "Pour Down Like Silver," and that's the one that they actually wrote while they were living in the commune. So like a lot of the songs are actually like spiritual based, like have something to do with like Islamic themes and Sufi things, but like very very underground. Like they're not very blatant about it, but like if you're sort of privy to that sort of
Yeah.
world, you can tell what references they're making. But like and like like obviously Jen's dad's sitting there talking about like when are you gonna have kids and all this kind of shit, and they're like he's staying here for a week, Dad, like
Yeah.
he's like I didn't realize that the conversation was gonna go in this direction, and like Jen's dad's like, well, from here on out, bud, Buckaroo or whatever, every conversation is going in that direction. and, then,
Uh,
and then you got
that was
yeah.
funny. It
And then
was
you got the weird aunt that's like flirting with him. Like, why don't you stay here longer? And then her husband's like, why don't you help make burgers? And like he gives like Matt like this dirty look. Like for one thing, Matt's blind, so he can't see you making that dirty look. And also too, why are you blaming him? It's your wife, the one that wants to sleep around. Like like
That's what you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's just what you do.
And then they're asking him like, does he have his own practice? How much money does he make? That's her aunt, and it's like, don't ask people how much money they make, stuff like that.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, it was a good episode. Any other stray thoughts or any final thoughts here?
No, I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see where things go with this Scar character. It'll be interesting. I think they're setting up something here.
Yeah, because wasn't Scar supposed to be like even more brutal than the Hulk since he was actually born like as half Hulk as opposed to like
Yeah, I mean that's what people are kind of upset about is because he looks.
Well, I was just wondering if that
he looks kind of weak in this, but I mean he was on screen literally for like 2 seconds, and people are like, acting like it's World War III because it doesn't look exactly like they
plus
wanted him
too,
to.
he could be like a little kid right now as well. Like
Yeah.
and
Who knows?
because Sakaar, like you said, in private, that like time is different. And,
Yeah.
like it's not the whole. But yeah, it would make sense because Bruce got his powers unnaturally through like a failed experiment, but then he was in Hulk form for at least 2 straight years, had sex one as the Hulk, and then therefore had a Hulk child. So obviously that's going to be different than someone who like I don't think that person would even ever be able to transform into human because they're born as a Hulk or half Hulk, and but yeah, like you said, they'll find ways to complain about it. And plus, too, it was literally at the end of the episode. It's not like they're gonna have a big fight scene.
Yeah, exactly.
He starts ripping people's heads off for no reason. Like
people will complain about anything. It's just the way people are, unfortunately.
I know. You can't enjoy anything anymore.
No.
Like you really have to complain. And again, there's a difference between fair criticism and just complaining about something. They're not the same thing. And so like we've been dealing with this lately with Clerks 3.
Oh yeah.
Like you can have a fair criticism of some of the things that happened in Clerks 3, but then that's different than like, oh, Clerks 3 sucks. They completely lied to us. Like that's not criticism. That's just you whining about it. Like
yeah, people are just evil. Anyway, so
yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah.
It's just nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. Well, what did you say Clerks 1 was about? Half the line, half the dialogue in the first Clerks movie is just making references to like Star Wars and other movies.
The idea of a sequel in itself is just nostalgia, anyway. So it's just the way that
Clerks 2, which
I think Clerks 2 any sequel of any series is basically nostalgia, because like you're continuing the storyline, you're going back to the characters you knew. It's why we feel comfortable when we watch old episodes of Friends or something. It's like,
Yeah.
That's what nostalgia is.
And
Yeah.
tell me if someone did a Friends reboot, that no one's gonna watch that. Give me a break. They're gonna watch
Exactly.
it. They're gonna complain about it. They're still gonna watch it. And
Yeah. Anyways, make sure you folks out there in podcast land, check out our all2real2.com and
Patreon.
Our Patreon and our TeePublic and all of our social media. I don't understand this stuff, but it's all out there.
The beads, the tees, the t-shirts.
Yeah, get that and everything. And thank you for doing so, folks. And be good to each other, folks. Love one another. And remember that we love you.
It's true.
And until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.